The streets of Chicago are about to burn again, and it's not just business this time, it's personal. Tommy Egan is back, and his next move might change everything. Episode 6 of Power Book 4, Force isn't just another chapter, it's the moment Tommy stops surviving and starts taking over. You think you've seen him angry before. You haven't seen anything yet. The streets of Chicago are about to burn again, and it's not just business this time, it's personal. Tommy Egan is back, and his next move might change everything. Episode 6 of Power Book 4, Force isn't just another chapter, it's the moment Tommy stops surviving and starts taking over. You think you've seen him angry before? You haven't seen anything yet. Tommy Egan didn't come to Chicago to play it safe. He came with a plan to create something of his own. No more being second to Ghost, no more answering to anyone. Just raw ambition, his own crew, and total control. But if this season has taught us anything, it's that nothing in Chicago comes easy. Every block, every deal, every face hides a threat. And Tommy, he's been juggling fire from day one. He walked into a city already divided by blood, loyalty, and business. At first, he made moves fast, partnering with Diamond, setting up supply lines, and forcing his way into the power structure. But with every win came a new target on his back. The streets don't forget, and they definitely don't forgive. Tommy's rise has been full of pain, betrayal, and hard choices. By the time we reach episode 5, the cracks are everywhere. Diamond, once Tommy's strongest ally, is now looking out for his own. The respect they built together is starting to wear thin. Diamond's been under pressure from the streets, from his brother Jennard, and from the weight of the life he's trying to hold on to. He wants order. Tommy brings chaos. That difference is starting to show in every conversation, every stare, every silence between them. Jennard has always been trouble. But now, he's no longer just a loud threat, he's turning into something worse. A man with nothing left to lose. His crew's loyalty is shaky, his money's in question, but his pride, that's uncheckable. He sees Tommy as the outsider, the one who came in and started calling shots, and Jennard's hate for that runs deep. Every move he makes now feels reckless, but underneath the rage, there's strategy. He's not just trying to fight Tommy, he's trying to erase him. Then there's Claudia Flynn, quiet, cold, calculated. She's not out in the streets with guns and threats. But don't let that fool you. Claudia's playing a long game, one built on silent alliances, clever timing, and family legacy. She's trying to build her own empire to one that doesn't need Tommy in it. Her deals are cleaner, but the consequences are just as deadly. She's the kind of enemy that doesn't scream or shoot first. She waits, watches, and strikes where it hurts most. Tommy's circle is shrinking. The people he once trusted are showing signs of doubt. The alliances are thin. The money's flowing, but the blood's flowing faster. The city's eyes are on him from rivals and from law enforcement. He's had to make choices that changed him. Losing Liliana broke something in him. And every betrayal since has built a colder, more dangerous version of the man we knew. He's still wild, still hot-headed, but now he's thinking 2 steps ahead. Every silence from Tommy speaks louder now. Every look, every move feels planned. Even his family drama hasn't taken a back seat. His relationship with JP and D-Mac is complicated, full of guilt and confusion. He wants to protect them, but the life he lives only brings danger. That tension adds another layer to his already heavy load. Tommy's always been a lone wolf. But deep down, you can tell he wants something real. Maybe not peace, but at least purpose. Chicago might be giving him that, but not without tearing him apart in the process. So now, as we head into episode 6, the stakes are higher than ever. Tommy's empire is still standing, but it's under attack from all sides. His enemies are circling, his allies are questioning him, and his own past is starting to weigh heavier. But instead of folding, Tommy's about to push back. Episode 6 is shaping up to be a turning point. He's not here to defend anymore. He's here to conquer. This city is about to feel the full force of Tommy Egan, and it's not going to be pretty. Asterisk, asterisk, you can feel it the moment the screen fades in. The lighting's colder. The music is slower, but heavier. Episode 6 isn't just another episode, it's a warning. The preview doesn't give us everything, but what it does show. It says loud and clear, Tommy's not just back, he's done playing nice. You can tell from the way he walks, the way his eyes lock on people like he's already made up his mind. Something inside him has shifted, and that energy hits differently. Asterisk, there's a scene early in the teaser where Tommy pulls up, slow and confident, the kind of arrival that says he's about to reclaim his name. The way he steps out, not in a rush, not flinching, tells us he's ready for war. The location isn't flashy, it's dark, gritty, maybe a warehouse or an old block he's reclaiming, but the message is clear. He's done waiting. His silence speaks more than words could. He's not explaining himself anymore. He's here to take back control. Asterisk, then there's a glimpse of Diamond. He's looking at Tommy like he's trying to read a man he no longer understands. Their dynamic used to be about power shared through trust, but now it feels tense. Like a cold war between two generals who don't want to shoot first, but no one of them eventually will. You can sense that something between them might snap soon. The way they talk in the teaser's short phrases, no eye contact, feels like the calm before a serious fallout. You almost forget they used to have each other's backs. Asterisk, but the biggest surprise in the preview, it might just be Claudia Flynn. There's a quick flash of her sitting in a quiet room, dressed sharp, staring at someone off screen. She doesn't move, but you can tell she's pulling strings. Behind every major move in Chicago's underworld, there's a quiet architect, and Claudia's eyes suggest she's already building the next play. Her presence in the teaser is brief, but that's what makes it powerful. The silence, the control. The mystery, it all points to her becoming a major factor in the coming storm. Asterisk, the teaser also hints at a scene involving Jenner that feels like a breaking point. He's surrounded by his crew, but his expression, it's not power, it's pressure. He looks like a man who's either about to make a desperate move or self-destruct. He says something quick, something sharp, and the people around him don't. Cheer, they pause. That pause tells us they don't fully trust him anymore. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're planning to leave him behind. Either way, Jenner is cornered, and cornered people are dangerous. Asterisk, there's another striking visual. Tommy standing alone at night under a streetlight. He's holding something in his hand. Could be a weapon. Could be something symbolic. But the way he looks at it, then tosses it, feels heavy. Like he's letting go of something, maybe guilt, maybe a plan, maybe even a person. That moment doesn't need dialogue. The silence, the way his jaw clenches, the slow exhale, it tells us everything. He's ready to burn bridges if it gets him what he wants. Asterisk, and then, almost out of nowhere, the energy shifts, gunshots, screams, sirens. We get flashes of violence, but no context. People running, doors kicked in. A body on the ground, everything cuts quickly, like we're only getting glimpses of the chaos that's coming. The tension builds not through what's said, but what's not said. The teaser holds back the details, and that makes it even more intense. Whatever's coming in episode 6, it won't be clean, it won't be quiet, and it won't leave things the same. Asterisk, the final seconds of the preview seal the deal. Tommy walks toward the camera with purpose, the background blurred and fading. He doesn't look back. He doesn't slow down. The music fades into a low, vibrating hum. His face says it all. He's made his choice. And if Chicago wants to stop him, they'll have to come hard. Because this isn't Tommy running anymore. This is Tommy hunting. Asterisk, everything about this preview suggests that episode 6 is where the game flips. What looked like control slipping through Tommy's fingers might turn out to be him luring his enemies in. What looked like weakness might have been patience, and now that patience is gone. This is the episode where Tommy reminds everyone why he's feared, because he's not just a player. He's the one who rewrites the board. Asterisk. It's not always the loudest moments that hit the hardest. Sometimes it's the quiet ones, the ones that barely last a second, that carry the most weight. Episode 6's preview doesn't just tease chaos. It hides power in silence, in body language, in the unspoken tension between characters who have shared too much blood, too many secrets, and now stand on opposite sides of a crumbling empire. The interesting moments in this preview aren't just about who pulls the trigger, they're about who chooses not to, and why. There's one particular shot that lingers longer than it should, and that's how you know it matters. Tommy walks into a dark room, lit only by the red glow of a neon sign flickering in the background. The red light paints his face in a way that feels symbolic: rage, danger, blood. He doesn't speak. He just looks around the room like he's remembering something painful. Maybe it's a place where a deal went south. Maybe it's where someone he cared about died. You can't tell for sure, but his jaw tightens. His eyes don't blink, and when he finally moves, it's slow and deliberate. No music, no words, just footsteps and breath. It's one of those scenes that tells you a man's about to do something he can't take back. Later, there's a glance shared between Tommy and Diamond, and it's colder than any shootout. They're standing in the middle of what looks like a deal gone wrong. People around them are shouting, tension rising, hands twitching near waistbands. But these two, they're just staring at each other. No one's flinching. That single lock gaze says everything. They don't trust each other anymore. Not completely. Maybe not at all. And yet, in that moment, they're still trying to act like business comes first. That fake calm, that mask of control, is what makes it so interesting. Because underneath it is a promise. This doesn't end in peace. It ends with one of them making a choice that will change the game. There's also a quiet scene with D-Mac that feels heavier than anything we've seen from him this season. He's sitting alone, hoodie up, staring at a phone screen. The camera doesn't show what he's reading or watching, but his expression drops. His eyes lose focus, and for a second, he looks like a kid again, not a soldier in Tommy's world, but a kid stuck between who he is and who the streets are forcing him to become. It's the kind of moment that doesn't scream for attention, but lingers in your mind after the teaser ends. Maybe he's planning something. Maybe he's walking away. Either way, it's a crossroads, and that's dangerous, especially in a city where loyalty is currency. But the scene that stands above the rest, the one that feels like a fuse waiting to blow, is a moment with Claudia Flynn. She's not speaking, just observing. A man stands across from her, clearly nervous, talking fast. She tilts her head slightly, not out of curiosity but calculation. Her fingers are wrapped around a glass, but she's not drinking. She's thinking, measuring, choosing. When the man finishes, there's a long pause. Then she smiles, not a warm smile, not even a fake one. It's cold, sharp, and full of intent. That's the smile of someone who's just made a decision that will ruin someone's night or life. She doesn't need a gun. Her silence is the weapon. Even the physical spaces in this teaser are loud with meaning. Warehouses, empty lots, backrooms filled with shadows. These aren't just locations. They're battlegrounds. They hold history. You can feel the ghosts of past deals, past betrayals, and the weight of everything that's about to go wrong. The production design itself tells a story. Howard doesn't live in fancy places anymore. It lives in corners, in whispers, in unfinished business. What makes these moments work so well is that none of them scream for your attention. They whisper, they simmer, they let you feel the tension rather than show it. And that's the genius of episode 6's preview. It doesn't need to spoil anything to build suspense. It lets you wonder, what is Tommy thinking when he pauses mid-step in that hallway? Why does Diamond look like he's about to say something and then stop himself? Why does Jennard look like he's holding back tears when he pushes a crew member away? It's all there, written in glances and gestures, not dialogue. These aren't just interesting moments because they look cool. They're interesting because they reveal character. They peel back the tough guy image and show you what's beneath: fear, pressure, regret, ambition. Episode 6 isn't just shaping up to be violent, it's shaping up to be personal. And when things get personal in power, people make choices they can't and do. Sometimes it's not what the show tells you, it's what it doesn't say out loud that sets fans on fire. Episode 6 hasn't even aired yet, and already the internet is buzzing with questions. The preview dropped only seconds of new footage, but in the Power universe, that's more than enough to trigger wild theories, deep connections, and whispers about who might be coming back from the shadows. Because in this world, nobody stays. Buried forever, not secrets, not grudges, and definitely not ghosts. Asterisk the biggest conversation right now. That slow, almost hidden shot of Tommy holding a pendant. It's not flashy, but fans with sharp eyes think it might be Liliana's. If that's true, then Tommy's not just reminiscing, he's plotting revenge. This could mean episode 6 finally pays off the promise he made when she died, that nobody who played a part in her death gets to sleep easy. There's a lot of quiet fire in that one glance, and it's got fans asking if someone we thought was safe was about to get caught in the CRSSHARS. And then there's the shadow figure in the background of one of the warehouse shots. The camera blurs it out on purpose, which means one thing in this show: it matters. Some think it's Markovich. Others say it might be a dirty cop from back in season 2, but there's another, wilder theory that Ghost's brother, someone we've never seen, could be introduced soon. Far-fetched, maybe, but Power has always played with family secrets and surprise bloodlines. What better time to drop a game-changing character than now, with Tommy isolated and desperate for muscle he can actually trust? Claudia Flynn's storyline also has people speculating. That small scene with the new player whispering in her ear, not just a random moment. Fans are betting that this is the start of a new cartel connection, one that doesn't just shake up Chicago, but ties directly into Power Book 2. Some think Monet Tejada's operation might be overlapping through silent partners or backdoor deals. If true, that would be the first real thread connecting the Force story to the college world chaos of Tariq's journey. And considering the Flynn family's international reach, it makes sense. Claudia's not trying to win the street war. She's trying to outgrow it. Another big theory floating around involves D-Mac. There's a quiet scene where he looks over his shoulder, real slow, like someone's following him, but no one's. They're at least on screen. Some fans believe this is a setup for a betrayal arc, that he might be forced to choose between family and survival, especially if the feds get involved. And with Tommy's emotional history, a betrayal from inside, his bloodline would break more than just trust. It would shift his entire strategy. Some are even predicting D-Mac might flip, not because he wants to, but because someone close to him gets caught up and he's left with no way out. Let's not forget what fans are whispering about with JP. His absence in the preview has people suspicious. Last time we saw him, he was knee-deep in emotional conflict. Some believe episode 6 might shock us with his disappearance, not necessarily death, but possibly kidnapping. A classic Power move: remove a loved one to pull the kingpin off his game. That would force Tommy into an emotional corner, the one place he makes the most reckless and most brutal decisions. Of course, there are always the whispers of crossovers. Names like Tibbet and Dre keep popping up in fan threads. Dre's dead, we know that, but Tibbet is very much alive, and he's got history with Tommy. Maybe he's in town already. Maybe that blurry background isn't a new enemy but an old friend, or maybe someone even bigger is watching from the sidelines, waiting for the chaos to peak before stepping in. This universe never forgets its loose ends. It hides them until the moment they explode. Asterisk, and finally, there's one quiet detail from the preview that hardcore fans can't stop talking about. A short phone call, a voice we don't hear clearly. Tommy answers, pauses, and simply says, "What do you want?" That's it, but his tone, it's tense, like he wasn't expecting the call. Like it came from someone who shouldn't be alive, or at least shouldn't be calling. Theories range from old New York enemies to someone like Tariq. Could this be the start of the long-awaited connection between Force and the rest of the Power Book timeline? Fans are hopeful and paranoid. Asterisk, one thing's clear. Episode 6 isn't just moving the story forward, it's preparing the board for something bigger. The fan theories aren't just guesswork, they're evidence of how deep this universe runs. Every glance, every silence, every off-screen name carries weight. And with Tommy Egan at the center of it all, nothing is off limits. People will die, alliances will burn, and someone from the past, mark these words, is going to show up when we least expect it. Asterisk. By the time the preview fades to black, there's a strange silence that lingers, like the kind you hear just before thunder cracks open the sky. Episode 6 isn't just the turning point of the season. It feels like the moment where everything we thought we knew gets tested. Tommy's not just back, he's different, sharper, meaner, more calculated. The streets of Chicago aren't reacting to him anymore, they're bracing for him. You can sense that the city, once a maze of opportunities and betrayals, is narrowing. The walls are closing in, and not just on Tommy, everyone's trapped in some way now. Every character, every gang, every family member is caught in a silent countdown they can't hear but somehow feel. Asterisk, this episode feels like it's going to force all the masks to come off. Diamond can't keep balancing peace with power. Claudia can't keep playing puppet master without eventually getting her hands dirty. Jennard is spinning so fast with rage and insecurity. It's just a matter of time before he either implodes or explodes. D-Mac is standing on a cliff, unsure if he's ready to fly or fall. Everyone's being pushed to make decisions, not just about survival, but about legacy. What they're going to leave behind, and what they're willing to destroy to protect it. Asterisk, Tommy's evolution is the real engine behind this storm. He's always been the muscle, the loose cannon, the wild card, but now he's thinking more steps ahead than ever before. That old impulsiveness is still there. You can see it burning in his eyes, but he's learned when to hold back, when to listen, when to wait. That's what makes him more dangerous now than ever. He's not just out for blood, he's out for position. He's looking past the street level and into something bigger. And anyone who stands in his way is going to feel that shift hard. Asterisk, episode 6 is also shaping up to be a mirror, not just for the characters, but for the fans. We've been riding with Tommy since New York. We've seen him bleed, break, lose, and survive. But now we're asking different questions. Who is Tommy when there's no ghost to keep him grounded? When there's no Tasha to warn him? When there's no soft place to land? The answer looks like it's going to come with blood on it. And the way this season is building, we won't just be watching a man rise, we'll be watching what happens when he becomes the very thing he once ran from. Asterisk, the speculative impact of this episode goes beyond just the Chicago streets. This is the moment that could ripple across the entire Power universe. If any of the fan theories turn out to be true, if we get a crossover, a surprise ally, or a villain from the past, then this won't just be a shift in Tommy's world, but in the larger narrative. It might hint at future conflicts, future alliances, and possibly the setup for something far more ambitious. Think bigger turf, bigger stakes, maybe even a final collision between Power Book series that we've all been waiting for. Asterisk, what makes episode 6 feel special is that it doesn't just tease what's coming next. It dares us to believe that nothing is off the table, that no character is safe, that no bond is unbreakable. It creates this slow burning pressure that feels ready to burst, not with one massive explosion, but with small, painful ruptures that leave lasting damage. That's how real power shifts. Quietly, permanently. Asterisk, and when it comes, don't expect closure. Expect questions. Expect heartbreak. Expect a new kind of Tommy Egan, one who's not just fighting to survive, but carving his name into the bones of the city. He's back, yes. But what's more important, he's done pretending he ever left. Asterisk, if this episode is what the preview hints at, then nothing after this will feel the same. The board is flipping. The hunters are becoming the hunted. And the man with the most blood on his hands, he just stepped back into the center of the game, not to play, but to end it. Asterisk.